I didn't catch your name, I'm sorry.
Matt.
Matt.
Good afternoon, I'm Dr. Susan Dean, the Vice Chairperson of the Orange County Partnership. Today is Monday, October 27th, 2025, and the time is now 2:05 p.m. And we are in the conference room of the Partnership's office at 40 Matthews Street, Suite 108, Goshen, New York. This is a public meeting and it is being live streamed. Notice of the meeting was published in accordance with the New York Open Meetings Law. We will start with a roll call. Connor Eckert.
Present.
Sandy Mathis.
Here.
Kurt Taylor.
Here.
Ryan Hawthorne.
Here.
Mike O'Connor.
Yep.
And Cassie Garcia, who's the VP of Operations, staff present in the meeting.
Here.
Of course, I am Susan Dean, as mentioned. The Finance and Audit Committee met on September 16th, 2025 to review and recommend the 2026 proposed budget. The proposed budget has been distributed to all members. Connor?
Sure, yeah, thank you, Vice Chair Dean, and thank you all for being here today on a special meeting. And as you know, we need the full board to authorize this, for one, approve the budget, and two, authorize the staff to upload it into the public information reporting system, Paris. So as Dr. Susan Dean mentioned, we met as an audit committee on the 16th, and great feedback. High-level takeaways were we met as a committee. We come back to the full board and look for adoption. Of course, we're missing a few members, so that's okay. We have quorum, and appreciate all the feedback from individual board members. I think mostly everyone on the board has their fingerprints on the budget in somehow, some way. So appreciate the insight as to our first budget under the Paris guise. So at a very high level, I think the key points are private investors. We attributed a 13.73% growth rate based on the 4-year rolling average. That brings us to $750,000, to which we'll present in for the 2026 budget. Our events, we attributed 3% growth rate, bringing top line revenue to $565 on events. Personnel, so we budgeted this year for $725. We kept that number static because we have room in there. It accounts for previous staffer's salary from the partnership, and that gives us room. I know we've talked about it at a very high level, potentially looking to expand the staff by way of business development and or special projects by way of sites and site selection. So giving us some optionality should we want to expand the staff. We maintain some float in the budget. Otherwise, many of the items remain static. Attribute for inflation in some cases with the more business development oriented expenses, and then it brings our net, proposed net ordinary income at the end of the year close to $90,000. Now, of course, that's conservative. We think we'll continue to grow at an aggressive rate that warrants increasing the staff, that warrants, scaling our mission around the market. But for this, it's represents, I think, feedback from the committee, feedback from all the board, and shows conservative profitability and also a real roadmap to scaling our mission, economic development focused mission. So on process, again, the committee met, which satisfies the Paris regulatory requirements. So if there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer. Please, Frank.
Yeah, and you mentioned conservative, so I'm going to point to the one that is the most conservative,
Sure.
and that is on the income side.
Yep.
So I appreciate kind of the rationale around where the budget came in, you're kind of using the rolling average. Anything of no, I want to call out this year's number is above what is kind of, today is above what is budgeted in '26. So just wanna kind of reconcile those two, and what are you seeing? Are you
Yeah.
seeing kind of one-times, or just
It's a good
take
question.
me through that?
Yeah, so on the investor side, we've seen substantial growth in folks increasing their investment in part, but also a chunk of that, roughly $60,000, attributed to people who did not pay last year, but we were able to get them to pay for services rendered the previous year. So I know we billed $878, but take away $65,000, that brings us to $815. So I think it's a mix of, for one, that inflation to an extent, but even with that inflation, it's still well over budget, but I think it's a mix of people going up. We have a few one-timers who want to come and see what, you know, the organization's about and what our events are about. But I would say most of it is internal growth, and then a handful of very large, kind of big fish investors that came in at the end of the year, or mid-year rather. From 815, that covers our 13.3 compound annual growth, which is unique. So from the last 4 years, 13.3 year over year, if we take away that 65, it brings us to 815, which is that 13 number again. So that seems to be the percent growth we're seeing, but it's also unique because what we said, from a financial perspective, the organization has had a very unique last 5 years by way of COVID. Then rebound from COVID, expand staff, unique organizational discussions last year, which impacted budget, to now I think some unique momentum and people doubling down on the mission. So it's been a unique 5 years. We haven't had really 2 years of steady standard operating without some large event over the past 5 years, which has been unique as well. So that kind of contributed to this conservative approach we took.
I presume that was a topic of conversation at the Finance and Audit Committee.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it was.
Absolutely it was. Yeah. But thank you.
Madam Chair, I have a comment, but I'd like to put it on the floor if I could. I'd like to make a motion to adopt the budget as is and authorize its filing at Paris.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay.
So the only comment I have is because, we're economic, this is not a bank. This is economic development, and I think it's important. I like the conservative nature, but it's also fluid. And I think with the leadership change and some other opportunities, because now that you got Amazon in the bag finally, it took you a little long, but you finally got that done, that we can now focus on maybe some other types of sectors, focusing on the quality of jobs, as you've talked about, and you've done some work on it already. So I think I would hope that we're very flexible moving forward, that we could seize opportunities. That usually spending is matched by revenue, but I just don't want, I'm not locked into this. It's a great start, it does our regulatory requirement, but as you continue to show dynamic leadership, I think you have a board that's ready to react to those opportunities, particularly if there's some discussions with the county on some partnerships with them. That's all I want to add.
Well said. Absolutely.
Okay, so with this motion, we're approving the Orange County Partnerships 2026 proposed budget and authorizing the staff to upload it to the Public Authority Reporting Information System, also known as PARIS. We noted, Sandy, that you did offer the motion. Kurt, second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so motion carried.
Congratulations. And I also have to briefly mention Cassie Garcia, our VP of Operations. We drove her nuts doing, multi-year financial analysis and, many hours together trying to figure out what this shape looks like. So I'd like to also give kudos to Cassie and the rest of the team. Appreciate the hard work. She put up with me way too much on it.
Very good. All right, so I make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Okay, awesome. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Okay, motion carried. We are adjourned. The time now is 2:13 p.m.